Because if I guarantee you, sit those same 12 people down in a room that don't know anything about the case, have them watch this documentary, I guarantee you they would all say that he was innocent. But they know all the other stuff that we don't know. So there's got to be some shit that was compelling enough for them to be like, okay, then I believe that he did it.
But I feel like here's my side of that is that, sure, you have all this other shit, right? And I'm sure that when that court case was going down, the prosecution had some compelling evidence that was equal to the compelling evidence that was being shown by the defense, right? So it was a battle, right?
Right.
So at that time, with it's possible that they fired the last and greatest salvo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And boom, they just won the war. Now, when you distill everything and bring it down and you show this evidence, right? I am sure, like, if they went back and they could see everything through the lens of this documentary, they'd probably reverse their decision, right?
Well, there's one juror that, I don't know if you've gotten this far yet, but there's one juror who actually, like, in the middle of deliberation had to leave due to a family emergency. And the judge basically, like, looked into it to see if it actually was a family emergency, and they deemed that it was an emergency, and that guy left. They got somebody else to come in, and whatever, they came to the decision. But that juror, like, since then is in the documentary, and he's like, I feel like they have wrong guys in prison. That guy knew pretty much all the evidence because he was there up until that in deliberation. So, but that's one guy. The other jurors, like, we haven't heard from them.
All it takes is one guy, though.
No, I know.
You know?
But then there's also, what was it? I guess that after the trial was over and the defense went to Stephen Avery's parents' house, they were, like, sitting there talking, and I think it started off, they were like, all those in favor that think that he is not guilty, raise your hand. And it was like 9-4 or 9-3. Like 9 people raised their hands and said not guilty. By the end of deliberation, it had completely reversed. So something happened that they talked about that, you know what I mean? Like, because when you're in deliberation, like, it's just you people talking about the evidence that was brought forward. So some people were probably like, I don't know. And then there was one guy or a couple guys that were like, but consider this, and could have been very persuasive.
Right.
You know what I mean? So who the fuck knows?
So there's this I think there's this umbrella over us that makes us believe that it's beyond anybody to bribe a jury.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or to have people on a jury, like a hand-picked jury, to fucking make decisions. But based on all the shit that you've seen in this documentary, I wouldn't put it past him. You know what I mean? Money fucking talks, dude. Especially in that type of community where most of the people, it's a poor community. You know what I mean? It's not a very fucking affluent place. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Whether that actually happened, like, we're never going to know. But
no,
I mean, it's
not.
a possibility, so.
I mean, like, when you look at all the shit that they lined up, like, right from jump, when they said that those cops, like the local cops, could not be on the premises in searching, right? And the people that were supposed to be searching were like, I don't see any fucking keys, right? And then all of a sudden, the cops that weren't supposed to be there show up, and they're like, oh, look what we found. We found some keys.
Yeah.
Right? Like, after 7 days, on the 8th day, they're like, oh, we found keys. And they're like, those keys weren't there for fucking 7 days. They're like, I don't know what the guy said it on the witness stand. He was like, they were like, oh, so, all that searching, you guys didn't see the keys? He's like, no, it's not that we didn't see them. They weren't there.
Yeah.
Like, he literally said it in those words on the stand, a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It wasn't like a person, like just anybody out there. A cop said that they weren't there. The Averys weren't on the premises.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops that weren't supposed to be there show up, and the fucking keys are there. Like, that's the only thing that I needed to see to say, yo, they're fucking framing this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you have all this other shit that shows up.
Yeah, but the only other thing that Here's the last thing, and then I want to jump into that other guy that we talked about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the other thing. So there was that EDTH. I don't know. It's some acronym for a chemical that is in a vial of blood to preserve it in a sense, so that over the period of time that blood doesn't like basically decompose in a sense.
Right.
There's a chemical that's in there. So they said that if the blood that was in the SUV that they found had traces of that chemical in it, then they knew it had to come from the vial that was in the evidence room. They tested that, and that vial didn't have any traces of that chemical in it.
Where did they test it at, though?
So, case in point, two things. One, I said to Becca, I said, if there's traces of that in it, case closed. Case fucking closed. Like, it literally, they fucking took it out of the vial and put it in the SUV. Done. This guy's being framed. That's it, right? They didn't find any of the evidence in it. However, that chemical in it. The girl who ran the fucking testing was one of the most sketchy fucking people ever on the stand. And they had this document, dude, that was like mind blowing. It was from
was she like the sketch artist, the one that was like
the one that was talking about?
He looks just like this other guy.
Yeah, I don't know. That guy was like, I'm just drawing who I think it might be. Like, that guy was fucking weird. So, I think it's him, so that's who I sketch, but it could be anyone. So I think that it's subjective.
You saying your sketch is better evidence than DNA?
I'm saying I drew Stephen Avery. I mean,
I'm saying I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's better than DNA.
But this one of the main guys, he was like the lead cop or whatever. He gave this girl a letter, and he was like, run this test, try to find this in the garage or something, like basically telling her to try to find this blood in a certain area, like almost kind of giving her a hint, like make sure that this shows up in this way, or shows up that it was in the garage. Like, wicked sketchy comment that it is there, and you have the piece of paper that he wrote in. But then she's like, oh, well, I did the test, and like, my DNA got like in there because it was so, dude, it was so weird about how like she was working with students who were like, she was training, but somehow it got contaminated. It like didn't make any, like, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, so, but they're like, but we didn't find any of the chemical in it. And they're saying that like, well, if it's contaminated, technically policy says that that sample should be deemed like you can't submit that as evidence, but they fucking submitted it anyway.
Exactly.
It's just like, I don't know.
But
so
there's
a lot of stuff.
There's so much shit, and I definitely feel like that. And this is the last thing I'm going to say, because DNA is what got him off the last time. They're like, fuck it, we're going to have some DNA to put him in jail and let him fucking. DNA got him out. DNA is going to keep him the fuck in there.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what they're thinking. That's their mentality. And they're doing everything they can to make sure that shit matches up, and that's what it is.
I mean, I'm just very interested to see the prosecution's side of things. Like, I really do want to see what they have to say, because, dude, there had to be something that made these people think that he was guilty enough to be in prison. And
I'm sure
oddly enough, I posted something on Twitter, which I thought was actually going to get a little bit more hits than it did, but I posted it 2 days ago, and I said, okay, so you've read what's out there and finished Making a Murderer. And I had a poll going, only 3 votes, but it was guilty, innocent, or undecided. 0 people, granted 3 votes, but whatever. 0% said guilty. And then I have innocent, 33%, undecided, 67%. 67%, so I don't know, more than probably 2 out of 3 people said undecided. And it's interesting because if it is undecided, that's a large amount of people that are those 3, more than 2 out of 3 people don't know. They feel like they haven't seen both sides of it. So I'm really interested to see what the prosecution shows us that we didn't know. And I'm not saying that they're gonna like put in shit that like it's clearly just throwing in. They're just gonna show their side of the story. And once I see that, I'll make my own decision. you know.
I just feel like there's like this.
Well, we got to talk about that. I have shit to say about that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just feel like there's this like thing, right?
Yeah.
Like this like situation where this guy is just like, oh, I'm gonna, I really like the way this girl works. I like, she's easy on the eyes. She does a really good job taking photos. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She's pleasant. I want her to come down. You know what I mean? They send her down. He tells his parents, hey, this girl's coming down to take pictures of the car. Mm-hmm. Right? Who the fuck does that? Who says, hey, this person's coming down to take pictures of the car. By the way, I'm going to kill the shit out of her. Right? That doesn't happen. Like, I don't say, hey, Tony's coming over. And then, like, 2 days later, Tony's missing. Right? Hey. Like, if anything, I'm, like, fucking trying to make sure nobody knows that you're coming to my house if I'm going to kill you. Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This is so much. Anyway, let's move on.
We'll see what happens.
Let's move on because I haven't even finished watching this thing, and we'll come back to this at another day.
Definitely.
But matter of fact, we'll revisit this when they come out with that other documentary. We'll watch that shit and then jump on this again.
Hell right? Yeah.
Word. So that's a plan. So next up on the docket, right?
Yeah. This is.
I talked about this on my show. There's a dude in fucking Dallas, man. Like, all right. So the police just arrested this guy, and he goes, yeah, he goes by the moniker of the Dallas Booty Tickler. And I'm not shitting you. This is what, pun intended. I'm not shitting you. This is what he goes by.
I'm not shitting
you. His name is the Dallas Booty Tickler. Discuss.
So, I just think it's hilarious that there's a dude who is. He's breaking into people's houses and tickling a butthole and then bouncing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand. And this is what I was saying to you earlier. Like, I don't get it because, one, I want to know, like, and you said the solution that guys were coming up with, they were like, all right, I got a couple things to say. They're like, it just isn't, they're like,
this is a well that keeps giving, man.
Yeah. It's just like, so first of all, people are like, well, the only solution is to sleep on my back instead of on my stomach if I have the chance of getting my fucking asshole tickled.
Right.
But, all right. So here's the thing. Fucking lock your doors. Like, you have a security system, right, in your house. Like, the guy isn't that good. If that is, like, his favorite thing, I'm sure he's not, like, a fucking, like, master fucking break-in artist. Like, he didn't, like, spend that time learning, like, the skills of breaking in just to tickle a fucking taint. Like, that doesn't fucking make any sense. So, whatever. Like, lock your doors, get a security system. You're in, like you said, a red state, so have a fucking gun.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying?
Pillow.
Like, dude, if you tickle my asshole and it's not someone that should be in my house, you're gonna get shot. Like, that's just what's happening.
I'm saying, like, if I lived in Dallas, Texas,
mm-hmm.
I'm daring you to fucking come in my house and tickle my asshole.
Yeah,
I dare you. I'll fucking go on TV and make a statement. I'll be
that's
like,
the last asshole you're gonna see.
Excuse me, Dallas Booty Tickler. My address is blah, blah, blah. I'll be Tony Stark in this motherfucker from Iron Man 3. This is my address.
Yeah.
Right? Fucking come on. Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring that finger to my house. Let's go.
But
right? Let's see what happens.
The other thing is, so I mean, yeah, but it's like, I understand that's what he does, but yeah, so security system, that's one. Have a gun if you think this guy's going to come into your house. But the other thing I don't get is this guy breaks into your house. You're wearing sweatpants to bed. Maybe you're wearing boxers. Maybe you're wearing, I don't know, like, who knows? Maybe you sleep ass naked, which is the worst thing to do in this situation. But, like, if he breaks into your house, granted,
I'm wearing jeans.
Granted, you're not on your, I guess, like, no one in Texas sleeps on their fucking back. So he walks in and, like, fucking walks up and is like on your asshole. Like, first of all, you don't feel the covers come off you. 1, 2, like, I don't understand how you don't wake up if somebody's in your house and takes the covers off you. If you're wearing, not everybody sleeps naked. So is he like pulling the pants down and like getting in there, or is he like just tickling it through the pants? And if that is the case, what is the point? Like, I just don't understand. Like, what does he get out of this? Is it the fact that he was like, "Hey, I tickled another asshole. Ha! The asshole tickler escapes again."
He's like the
US
fucking
woman-
Hamburglar, right?
Right. It's like I don't get it. Like it or does, and if he does tickle like an asshole like with nothing.